All stand, please. Please be seated.
Yes, thanks, Miss Law.
As a pretty ordinance.
So effectively, you have no explanation
No,
for how the fire could have started.
not at all. No, nothing. I am honest in saying I have no bloody idea.
Okay, and you
I'm
deny
shocked.
lighting the fire.
I would never light a fire. I actually thought it was a stunt. I actually thought it was a stunt.
So I've got to ask the question, did you light a fire on Thursday at any point on your property?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Under no circumstances did I light a fire.
Are there any other people we may be able to speak to? Would anyone else have had access to your property?
No.
You don't have
no.
trespassers, you've never had any issues with?
I've had a few odd people turn up thinking that the previous owner was living there. But the last was probably a year ago.
And you said you didn't see anyone coming or going from the property on?
Only
Jeff.
Yep. So I cannot, I wouldn't be stupid enough to burn off. I actually went off at Stephen Cap up the road a few months ago. They burnt off, and I don't think it was even fire season. I think it was because of high force winds and that. You just don't do it. I wouldn't put myself or other people at risk. And this is So I'm sorry, but I'm actually shocked. I was actually waiting for you to say the stump.
Would you ever rake around this area?
No. And then over, you can see I haven't been there. That's done. That's forgotten. I've got 22 acres. I've got so much. I've got a horse. I've spent a month off work and I hadn't been able to do anything because I got bone disease on my face, just diagnosed and that, and been in chronic pain. So I actually haven't done a lot around the property, to be honest, and it was only the other week that I went out and just snipped it around, and you can see that's, it's been recently done. But no, no.
Okay, in the car on the way back here,
Yeah.
You made a couple of comments that I just noted down.
Yeah.
You said you felt sick this whole time. I don't know how the fire started on my land. I feel sick, I just can't work it out why everything was ablaze.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I feel sick because.
Do you feel responsible?
No. What I feel responsible for is the unknown, because all I know that there was a fire on my property, and with that fire on my property, I did not know where it came from, how it happened, and was it my property? And then if it is my property, when hearing all the places, when you hear other places, and to think that it could have started on your property, that's why I was feeling sick. I was feeling bloody sick, and I still feel sick. And I actually feel, I don't know what to feel at the moment, but I know, honestly and truthfully, I did not go near that back. I had no reason to. I'd been out the front, and I was worried about picking up the poo and Dugja and the dogs, and that was my concentration, which is totally away. And I just don't go around there. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't say I've done something that I haven't done. If it came, which I pretty much, I think you've understood. I've been talking about the stump, and with the 7 Mile Beach fiery, talking to me about that, getting pissed off at people there. I've even got texts from girlfriends saying, I'm saying I think I talk to you, and I think it's a stump.
So you've discussed
people. Because that's what I actually thought. I thought after that 7 Mile Beach, and I still even thought, no, it can't be, because that was just a little bit of smoke was coming. And I thought, no, until they come back and tell me, I can't know. And when Pat said, something lit. And so, no. So I'm sorry, I'm not being accused of something that I did not do, and I've never, my God, if I've risked my own in my life and people's lives, lighting the fire, no thank you, no.
Okay. Is your property insured?
I'm with the RACT,
Yeah, and what sort of cover have you got?
home and contents.
And have you been with RACT for a while?
Oh, I've been with him probably since I was 17 years of age. I've owned previous time.
Yep, so since you've obviously lived on the property for 3 years,
Yep.
have you had insurance that whole
Yes,
time?
I have.
And has it been with RACT?
Yes, it has.
Yep.
Yep.
Have you recently changed your coverage or updated things?
I did when it came around for renewal. I think that was June, July. And I actually made it a bit lesser.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you said the contents was worth less than what you'd originally said?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Alright. Is there anything Detective Peterson you wish to ask?
Just want to be absolutely clear, when you were out with Jeff, before you went back in, and then came out and found the fire, had you seen any signs of fire in the hills around you?
I didn't, because of all the hills around us and massive big canopy trees.
Yeah.
I just focused on my property.
So you,
I didn't even look there because my fire was there. Yeah, I just.
before Jeff left, or when you were saying goodbye to Jeff or whatever, when you went inside to make that coffee, you hadn't seen fire anywhere near your place.
No way, 100%.
Hadn't seen embers falling, hadn't seen smoke, hadn't seen any of that.
I wasn't, no, because I actually had my head down. I just sort of waved him off and because I can't look at, the sun's bright, so I don't want to look, I wasn't paying attention because the wind was so strong and you just, and
what I'm getting at is you hadn't noticed any other spot fires, you hadn't noticed great billowing clouds of smoke or anything?
God. And I just had a laugh with him, and and he was, as I said, he was trying to, he spent a good time yakking to me.
Yeah.
And then when he was on his way out, he says, do you really want your handful with a racehorse? I don't know why people buy them, you should buy a trotter. And then he's talking to me about buying off one. And, and then it's all right then, mate, and he drove off and I went inside. And then I thought, it's so bloody hot, do I go back outside? Do I, do the dog's yard poo? Do I go to the dog's yard to poo? Because I shovel Doug's poo all the time. But you can spend a whole day shoveling that, so you do little bits and that. I was inside. I was inside. I left him at the deck. He went down the road. That's when I went inside, and then came out looking, and then grabbed it. I grabbed the ashtray, the little wooden ashtray that sits inside, and then I went outside to just sit while I was waiting for the kettle. But I didn't get. That's when I saw that. Yeah.
And so, apart from Jeff, the last time you've been alone at that property.
Yes.
Since Tuesday night, Wednesday morning.
Yes.
Okay. And nobody else has been. Nobody's door knocked, visited, dropped off mail.
No.
Okay.
When did you say when Hamish was there?
After Hamish left on Wednesday morning, I think you said it was.
Yeah.
Which would be the second. Nobody else came to the
he sort of left it more, probably would be more around lunchtime. Yeah. Yep.
On Wednesday.
Wednesday would have been the 3rd.
Second.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yep. So, after Hamish left, on Wednesday the 2nd, nobody else came to your property. You didn't get mail, you didn't get, door knockers, insurance salesman, whatever.
No.
Nobody else came. No visitors.
I actually had, I had the flu. I was just in that thing, so I was a bit blah anyway, so I didn't want to, I just had a little bit of a respite. Yeah. But no, so, sorry, I'm just,
That's all right.
And also speaking with the fire investigators, they were saying that the fire appeared to not have ever come towards your house, but always going away once the fire had started.
You haven't got a picture of it. It was creeping.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was coming towards me.
It was coming towards the house.
I know it was going there, but it was coming towards the house. It was creeping. We spent 3 days, and all our neighbours can say it creeps as well as goes the other way. Yeah. So.
Now there was some glass around the stump that we discussed.
Now I will tell you, and that's something that I will tell you. when I bought this property, the amount of glass and bottles that had been smashed through that whole property, all through here, and
When
then
you say here, just for purposes.
oh sorry, so
The tree
no,
line,
right,
the septic.
this was it was before the septic went in, and all these trees here, see, these trees here, they covered all of this.
Yeah.
And there were every sort of from beer bottles.
Do you know where they came from, or what the?
Oh yeah, I knew that her partner that lived there was an alcoholic, and I had big
previous
parties.
occupants,
Yes.
or big drinkers.
Yeah, and smash it. Oh, at
Excuse
the
me,
back
Your
of my
Could you
house.
just pause, please, Ms. Law? Yeah, I was just looking at it myself.
Ms. Laura, could you perhaps just go back a couple of seconds so that we've got the image frozen on the
makes it a
screen
little
again?
clearer.
You see?
Assuming
These
it's
trees
the
here.
same.
Pause there.
Assuming it's the same photograph.
No, it's a different one, Your Honour. Your Honour recalls in the previous photograph, the photographer was perhaps standing around and to the left relative to the angle on this photo.
To the left of the photograph.
Yes. But
Yes.
just for Your Honour's assistance, the nearest I've been able to find as an approximation to that photograph is in document Court Book 100.
So that's got to be taken from the
Pretty much west, I suspect.
From the eastern end of the house,
Yes.
about where the other tap is. It was pointed out yesterday, not the tap near the steps, but the tap on the other side. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. Straight down from the eastern end of the house.
Yes. I think pretty much.
Because that's the orientation of the log, as I recall.
Well, I think we've got a photograph of the log. If you want to bear with me one moment.
Mr. Reid?
Yes.
I like it when you say yes.
So to give Your Honour the orientation again, could we go firstly to Court Book 101 and photograph 58.
Yes, I've got that locally.
And it's not yet come up on the screen, Your Honour, but does Your Honour's version show the
Aerial
log?
photograph of the house with the car in front of the deck.
That's right, and Your Honour sees the log basically in line with the back edge of the roof of the house relative
Yeah, well, that
to
was the
photograph.
point that I was endeavouring
Yes.
to make, that that's the orientation of the log, the same as the house.
Yes,
And in effect, that's got to be taken from somewhere straight at the edge of the
straight.
eastern end of the house.
Yes, yes, agreed, Your Honour. But then in terms of the nearest approximation to the actual photograph that Ms Barrett was holding up on the screen, for Your Honour's assistance, Court Book Document 100. I'm sorry, I don't have the file numbers for this one, but it's, I think, the 6th photograph in.
That's not coming up very well. Court Book 100.
And I think it's file underscored 0006.
Is this it now? I just can't bring it up locally. The hyperlink's not working.
In any event, Your Honour, I think if Your Honour sees it on the court screen, and I think we saw
Yes.
a moment ago that it is file 0006 within that document.
Yep.
If you please.
So now what's the point you make about that?
Oh, I was just trying to help Your Honour with a better version of the image that was shown in freeze on the video.
Yeah, so you say that's pretty much it?
Seems to be
Yes.
pretty much from the
Mr.
same
Reid?
angle.
Pretty much.
Okay. I prefer yes. Yes, thanks, Ms. Law. We can go back to the interview.
they covered all of this.
Yeah.
And there were every sort of from beer bottles.
Do you know where they came from or what the...
Oh yeah, I knew that her partner that lived there was an alcoholic and not that big
previous
parties.
occupants,
Yes.
big drinkers.
Yeah, and smash it. Oh, at the back of my house, you can go and have a look now. I haven't, now that's naughty of me too, because I suppose I should shovel that away. At the back of my house, there's a few little rocks, and it's where they used to have their own fire, yeah. And it's about that deep of glass, all different sorts of broken glass and broken glass. And I've spent a lot of time going through my property, getting bottles out, broken glass as bottles, and even in the dog's yard, where the dogs are, the soil, every time it comes away, shards of glass, shards of glass. I have glass all over that property. And I don't know what they did. It could have been the people even before them. I don't know. That I can take you to all places where there's glass all over that property. And that's something that actually has been a thing of mine, because I know glass heats up.
So were you concerned that glass might cause a fire?
Oh, when I've gone around picking up glass, and it's funny, it was only, what are we today? It was only earlier in the week, I was in the dog's yard and my dogs constantly make little tracks, and there again, white glass and beer bottle glass. It comes up, it's been 3 years, and I even dig it up and be buggered if it doesn't still keep on coming up. You can go up there now and scrape it and it will be just, yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of glass around that property. Yeah.
Now we've discussed a lot of different things today.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think would be worth mentioning to us from an investor? I mean, we want to try and pick it up.
Yeah, and I do too, and I thought, I mean, that's totally blown me, and I can't stress enough how I would never light a fire on a total fire ban. I wouldn't light a fire and do any type of burn off. I do it in the off seasons. I have, a friend that's, I'm not that person, yeah, so please, yeah.
Now just so that you're aware,
I'm really upset about this, and because I don't know how that bloody started, and thank you for saying, because the only thing I can think of is glass. If that's, that no way in my lifetime would I light something, and no. Would I do that?
Alright, so you're aware we've obviously been canvassing the area for witnesses. We've spoken with someone that lives sort of within the area.
Yep.
At property sort of up on the hill away from
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay. Now, 2 people at that residence on Thursday both report seeing, one of the witnesses reports seeing a fire that was probably 3 metres by 1 metre high, and it was at the side. Basically, they've seen a fire at the side of your property. Yep, they've seen what they appeared, or they've described 2 people, or an adult and maybe 1 or 2 children, and they've described seeing that person running panicking, trying to put out a fire, and then within seconds the fire is licking a tree and then it's up and it's off.
I was just concentrating on that,
Okay, yep. Now, they've described there being other people than just 1.
Oh, this is where my brain's gone a little bit. The fire was turned up before Hamish and the kids. I'm sure they did. They then went, and Hamish and the kids could turn up, but in the end, I was there on my own, run up and down,
Okay, so they're saying it was about 2:15, and they've also called the fire service as soon as they saw that.
Oh, great.
It's a fire ban.
Yep.
Total fire ban. There's a fire. Clearly, the person's distressed. It's out of control. They've made the call, and that came in at 2:13.
Okay. Yep.
Yep. So they've described, and I mean, they've got no real reason to make anything up. They're just trying to their observations of it, and they're saying that there was more than one person there. They thought it may have been a child as the second person.
Yes. Now this is where this is where it's really, really hard, because it's been 3-side day and I'm bloody tired. All I remember was ringing Hamish, and I'm sure the fireys had turned up, but in no way was Hamish and 2 children with me. The fireys will even say that they came up.
It was just you.
Yeah, they will verify that.
Was there any point where
I don't have kids?
Was there any point when Hamish was there and the kids were there that fire started up again at 2 in the afternoon?
They weren't there.
No, okay.
Yeah, they're at the beach. I actually didn't
You've got
want to
no
come
real
up.
explanation as to why someone would say.
No, all I can think, they think that it's Jeff. All I can say is unless they think it's Jeff. But in the end, they might have seen Hamish there with the 2 kids. That's right, because the fires had gone up the road. They actually left the property to go and check other things, and then they come back. You know how they keep on going and coming back and keep on going and coming back. And Hamish was there with me and the 2 kids, and I said to Lockie and, because I was exhausted by that stage.
What time would that have been?
This is where I'm so sorry, but I'm just lost for time. I don't wear a watch, and I'm just giving you from the time with the mobile where, what's his name, turned up.
So the first witness has said that they pulled up to the property that I've described as opposite, sort of up on the hill opposite your place. They've looked down at your property, about 15 to 20 metres to the left of the house from where he was standing. He saw a small fire on the ground. The flames were about 3 metres wide and 1 metre high. It looked like a grass fire. He went inside to tell another person that was present at the address. He came out a few minutes later and the fire had spread to a nearby tree. They've alerted the fire service, and then he could see a person who he believed was a male and 2 or 3 kids that were running around and appeared to be in a panic. It looked like they were trying to put out the fire. I could see them running back to the house and then to the fire. I think they were carrying buckets.
Yeah, because I ended up getting them to help me then because I couldn't breathe.
But who were you getting to help you?
I had pretty much put, I remember how I told you I went from that spot and I followed it down. And when they arrived, Hamish and the kids, I said, I said, Boris, can they do it, because Hamish was going, no, it's not, nothing big, nothing, whatever. And the fireys said, we can get some buckets and hoses. And I was already doing my, bucket thing because I was saying, oh no, sorry, that was a bit later when it was coming that way. Sorry. The fireys had been, Hamish and the kids did come up, the 2, Lockie and that. And I said to them, keep on filling the containers for me because I can't breathe anymore, I'm really exhausted, and help me keep on going.
Okay, the problem I've got now is that this person saw
I know
that fire at 2:13 p.m. Okay, they've called fire service, which they keep a log. So we've got a print out of that. We've got his
look, I 100%, I can 100% say, I don't doubt what they're saying, but I'm saying no one was there. I was on my own until those fireys turned up. The fireys were with me the whole time. They can say vouch for me when those kids were there. Those kids were there, but my God, they were not there before the fire. They were not there at all. I was home alone. I screamed down the phone to Hamish. So I don't know what time I rang Hamish, but I screamed down the phone. The place, my property was on fire. So I actually rang him, and I can understand you saying that, and that's fair enough, what they're saying, but no way. Those kids were helping, but no way was anyone there. they live on a hill and
Can you
they can't
just
look
pause,
up trees
please,
and
Ms.
trees.
Did we see such a location yesterday, on a hill looking down on the property?
Your Honour, it was the one I pointed out to you at 291.
Sorry?
It was the one I pointed out to you up on the hill at the view yesterday, 291, White Hill Road, to the Berries property.
From the bottom of Doug's paddock, is it?
No, if Your Honour recalls, when we were standing we had our backs, the house was,
Which location were we visiting?
we were at the house, at Ms Barrett's house.
Right, yes.
And we were standing, as I recall, slightly, we had our backs to the house and we were slightly to the east.
And you said you can just see it through the trees.
And my learned junior, Mr Cox, pointed out to Your Honour that there was a little white house to the north, down across the valley and up on the far ridge line.
On the other side, yes.
On the far side.
Yeah.
And that's the Berries house. And so they were looking back towards Ms Barrett's
Well,
property.
you'd want binoculars, wouldn't you?
One might think so, Your Honour, yes.
All right, Mr Reid. That's what we're observing, I
Yes,
recall now.
that's what we observed, and you would want binoculars.
Yes, all right, thank you. All right, thanks, Ms Law.
And that, so they couldn't see really all the distance because it went pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I'm saying from when I saw it and when I raced to it, it went so quickly.
And they agree.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like
seconds in
no, and Hamish and the kids did turn up and they did help me to make sure it didn't go into Dougie's paddock. They were helping me that the fireys know very well and the fireys will the midway point. And that no way.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ms Law, could we pause again? Your Honour, Mr Cox has just suggested, and I think it's probably a good idea, I think it's common ground between the parties that the Berries report is not part of our case. We don't suggest that Mr Robinson was there at the time the fire started. I think it is common ground that Ms Barrett was there on her own.
Is it part of your case, Mr Reid?
No, it's not, John.
All right,
So-
thanks. Well, I'll stop worrying about it.
Yeah, Your Honour doesn't need to worry about this aspect of things. There's probably a few more comments that Ms Barrett makes along the way. In fact, I think there might be. So we should watch to the end of the interview. But this Berries issue and Mr Robinson being there and people running around in a panic in the first seconds of the fire is no one thinks it's correct.
No. Thank you.
No, I can't believe that.
They've seen people running to and from the
Yeah,
house
we
to the
do.
fire.
Yeah.
2 fire trucks arrived in about 10 to 15 minutes time.
No.
One went to where the original fire started and watered down that around the house, and the other truck went to protect other houses.
No. I had the first fire truck did not come to my house as I told you. I told them, please go up and see if Kath and Steve are home. If they're all right, they've got 9 dogs up there. And they said, yes, we remember from last time.
Yeah.
So no.
So if
But I didn't have
the house is
virus.
under threat, you're saying you told the fire to go to a different house?
No, I said because I was getting it under control because it was that tight. It was coming, but it's a tiny grass, like it's a grass, so you can contain it. Oh, you can't, you can actually. So you're putting it out. So say for instance, you might put out a section there, and it stays out, and then you'll go and put another little section out. So that's what I was coming with, and in the end, the wheels go on 100 miles an hour. I didn't know whether they're going to be fireballs jumping over, my main concern was my horse and not having, so the kids kept on helping me.
Yeah, okay. So the other statement...
I can't, and this is where I know, no. Sorry, this is really hard for me to try and think back everything that happened. It was bloody traumatic. I pre-thought that first truck came up and I said, go up the road. I know it sounds stupid and you might think it sounds stupid, but I knew I'd never seen a dog there. I could control it. It was coming out the house, but I was worried about Doug and his paddock there. That was my main concern. And I don't know whether the fires had gone up and Hamish and the kids had arrived then, but they were there helping me, there's no doubt about that. When I was on my own, and then they were there and started, because I just said, the kids, you've got to help me, you've got to help me. And that's when, so I saw the fireys, they went up the road, and then Hamish and the kids turned up, then the fireys came back up to me. Well, I'm pretty sure they weren't there, but if they could have been there as the fireys were coming. Honestly, I know it's very hard, but I'm really a little bit confused on, I was just in a panic and I was trying to do the best of my ability. So I don't know, when I rang the fireys back to see if they were still coming, I don't know those things. My mindset was getting my fire under control when I was home alone, and I stood there on my own as I ran it down, and I'm thinking, not one neighbour is coming down to help me, no one's there, and yeah, when the kids and the fireys were there, the kids actually got me a little, were filling up the water for me so I could get it down, quicker, but no way.
Right, just for your benefit, in fairness to you, I read the other statement.
Yeah.
So basically, he's been advised by the other person at the address that there's been a fire opposite at your property. He's coming out the front, he's seen a fire on the ground about 50 metres to the left of the house. So he's looking at your place 50 metres to the left.
Oh, yeah.
The fire was 2 to 3 metres high and 1 metre wide. It was licking into the trees and growing bigger.
Yeah.
This person's got a bit of fire background.
Yep.
Now he says that obviously it was a clear day, but very hot, blowing westerly.
Can I possibly have a little bit more water if that's all right? Sorry, I'm still
Yeah, we need.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, love.
Yep.
Yeah.
He rang 000 and reported the fire straight away. He ran inside. When he came back out, the fire had just taken off.
Yep.
It had grown, and you could tell it was out of control. It was racing towards a neighbouring house. He could clearly see an adult male wearing black shorts and a white t-shirt.
I don't know what Hamilton on that day, but anyway.
It looked like he was pacing at one point. He had a bucket in his hand. There were also 2 young kids with him, maybe 9 to 10 years old. As the fire grew, he thought it was going to destroy the neighbouring house. He again rang 000. It was serious. Said it was out of control. 2 fire trucks arrived in about 10 minutes. One went to where the fire had started, near the house, and tried to put it out with no success. I watched the fire grow and continue in a southeasterly direction. Prior to the fire starting, he doesn't recall seeing or hearing any machinery or any lightning in the area, etc. So I'm a bit concerned now, Mel, that you've been so sure about the fire is turning up, Hamish coming, a good half an hour later.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying half an hour. The fire is the first truck. There weren't 2 trucks. There was 1 truck that came.
And did it come up to you?
I went. No, because I was already, as I said, down the lower part of that hill.
Okay.
And I said, oh, it's just a scrub. I said, I'm putting it out with water. And I said, but I've whippersnipped up to my house. I said, just go up to, can you please see if they're all right? And I said, the fire's gone, the fire's that way, because all we could see was smoke. I mean, it was so windy and there was smoke and stuff everywhere. And I said, there's a track down through that way. I said, but please go and see if my neighbours are all right. Because I couldn't get in the car, I was on my own, I could not get in that car to drive to see if my neighbours were all right.
The concern I've got, Mel, is that these 2 witnesses have said they didn't see how the fire started, but they saw it within 5 metres. That was the only sort of...
Sorry, within 5 metres of where?
Like it was within, it was small. The fire was a small vegetation fire on the ground.
It was a small vegetation fire, but the wind and everything else...
Which we can agree
with.
Has taken it and made it huge. But at the point when they first saw that small vegetation fire, they said there was a male and 2 kids there.
No. I had already started getting that under control before anyone arrived.
So they're saying...
And I was exhausted, and the fireys can vouch for that, because they spoke to me, they knew I was on my own, I was putting it out. I said, please go and see the neighbours, and I know this is really hard. All I remember was screaming at Hamish down the phone hysterically, you know,
So
please
your
help.
record should indicate what
Bloody
type
oath
of
it
content.
should. Yeah, definitely. Sorry.
Did
just
he ring you at all?
Pardon?
Did he ring you at all?
I can't. I think, I don't know if he rang me back or not, or I can't say it, yeah. But I definitely rang him, if you want to check the time that I rang on my phone, his mobile number. That's when I said to the, you know, get up here, the place is on fire. So, and I know, look, I'm not doubting neighbours and that, they would have seen the two kids in Hamish, yes they were there. Yes, they were still helping me to make sure it wasn't spreading. It wasn't coming this way, as I said, it was coming, it was low, it was because I've maintained, you know, that's my area I've maintained. That way it was going like wildfire, and I knew people were that way, and that's why I actually said to the fireys, yes, especially to my neighbours, and I knew that the fire had gone through that way previously, you know, a couple of months ago because of the neighbours. So I knew that it was clear for them to go through, because before, a couple of months ago, they couldn't go through that way.
So it's agreed that yes, it's
yeah. So I don't know whether, and this is the honest truth, I don't know whether, and this is where, and I'm not just saying this, but I am, it's been so much has happened in such a short time, that I know I spoke to those fireys. No, do you know, thinking back now, Lockie, Hamish and little Harrison, I think they had just turned up as the fireys had pulled up, because I yelled at them, I thought I was down on the path when the fireys turned up to my letterbox. I was down there, and I'm pretty sure, well I can't say I'm pretty sure, it was either Hamish and the kids weren't with me, or the fireys turned up and they'd gone up the road, and that's when Hamish and the kids turned up. But no way on this earth. Yeah, I'd already worked my ass off, and I'd really, you know, because as I said, I could maintain it, that coming my way, no way. And that's why the kids ended up filling up the buckets for me, because I was exhausted after what I'd done to, you know, get it under a bit of control, and I know they were helping me, and Hamish was there. But I don't know whether it was when the fireys went up and then they turned up at the fire, or they turned up with...
Is there a chance that Hamish and the kids turned up before the fire service did?
That's what I'm trying to think back, because I'm thinking, because I was just...
You make a 000 call and you say my property's on fire. The fire brigade are going to get there as soon as they can. Okay, so you're trying to say that Hamish is leading the fire service to your property?
No, I'm saying that the fire service took about 20 to 30 minutes to turn up. There was Jim, there's actually Cindy Walker. Now, Cindy Walker's a volunteer firefighter with the Midway Point. They were pretty much with us for most of that day. Hamish actually ended up taking Harrison back up home to his place in Gilston Bay and coming back. But Cindy Walker, I used to go out with her partner, her brother, quite a while back, and she was in the Midway Point truck as well. But Hamish is at Park Beach, which is only 7 minutes drive from home. So I'd rang the fireys, but I'd also rang Hamish screaming down the phone. So you can only tell on that mobile what time I rang Hamish. I'm sorry.
My concern is obviously the witnesses aren't corroborating what you're saying.
No, I am to a certain extent. I'm agreeing with them, because Robbie and Hamish
were there at some point.
Yes.
You're saying it was when the fire originally started, not that it was already...
No, I swear to God on this earth, that fire was already going.
Before they came back.
Yeah. The fire had started well and truly, and I stood there on my own, I can't even tell you, I just felt so alone and so bloody useless because it was out of my control. It was, yeah. That was out of my
Going over old
Yeah, I'm
now,
sorry.
we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now, are there any other witnesses that you think might be worth us speaking with? Is there any other avenues that you can think of that might assist with the investigation?
All I can say is speak to the fire people. As I said, it was.
We'll find out.
Yeah, there were 3 different ones.
Yep.
All I can say is my surrounding neighbours, you know.
Yep.
And look, if, as I said, everything, I was in such a major bloody state mentally because I was worried about it travelling. I didn't know where it come from. I didn't know what was happening. All I knew, there's a massive fire happening, and whether it was 5 minutes between bloody Hamish turning up or Lockie or the fire trucks, in the end, I fought that fire coming this way. I had nothing. I had no control that way. But this way, I bloody well busted my gut. Even the fireys, I was even there, couldn't talk to them because I was struggling to breathe.
Okay. Is there anything you want to ask before I conclude?
I don't think so.
All right. I'll conclude you two. Before I do, I need to check you're happy in the way that you've been dealt with.
Yes, thank you, and I do apologise for swearing.
It's been a long day for everyone.
Yeah, so yeah.
All right, that being the case, the time is 10:30 p.m. concluding.
All right, thank you, Your Honour. I think that's it for the first police interview with Ms. Barrett. Just for Your Honour's reference, I think it's common ground between the parties, just on that last issue about the Berries phone call. The first brigade to arrive at Ms. Barrett's property was the brigade from Dodgers Ferry. As Your Honour's heard, she sent them up to 244 White Hills Road. The second brigade arrived soon afterwards. They were from Midway Point and they went straight to 244. Then Mr. Robinson arrived with the 2 boys. Then a third brigade arrived, this time from 7 Mile, and they went to 242.
242, yes, I'm sorry.
It's Ms. Barrett's property. And then Mr. Robinson left for a while to take the children away, and he later came back. I think that's the sequence.
I can't say it's common ground because there's uncertainty about whether Hamish's car drove up the driveway before the first fire truck or immediately after the first fire truck. But it probably makes no difference at all. But that's a question of, we'll see what the defendant's memory is when she's in the witness box and consider it from the interview as well.
But the order of things otherwise, Midway Point, Dodgers Ferry, 7 Mile Beach.
Yeah. Dodgers turn up and go up to 244. Midway.
Sorry, Dodgers Midway, 7 Mile Beach.
Yes. Midway then go up to 244 but come back, and in the meantime 7 Mile Beach go up to 242.
What about the timing of the Berries call at 2:13? That's a matter of record, I'm assuming.
It is a matter of record, Your Honour, and my learned friend took Your Honour to the 000 call log on Tuesday. Excuse me.
Yes, thank you.
Now, Your Honour, we might now move to Ms. Barrett's second interview with the police. This one was conducted at her property at 242 White Hills Road. This one goes, I think, for about 14 minutes. And then
document. Is it still the same document number?
No, Your Honour. This one, the video itself is Court Book 59.
And the transcript?
And the transcript is Court Book 58.
Thank you. And the date is 7th of January, which would be the Monday.
7th of January, yes, Your Honour. So 2 days Your Honour heard that the previous one finished at about 10:30 p.m. on Saturday the 5th of January, and this one is on Monday the 7th of January.
Yeah. Thank you. 3:40 p.m.
Thank you, Your Honour.
This is a video interview at 242 White Hills Road, White Hills, on the 7th of January 2012. The time is approximately 3:40 p.m. I'm Detective Sergeant Matthew Adams. Can you just introduce yourself for the purpose of the interview, please, Mel?
Yes, I'm Melissa Jane Barrett from 242 White Hills Road, Fawcett.
Yeah.
My birth date is the 31st of the 10th, 1970.
Excellent. You're happy for me to call you Mel?
Yes,
Yep.
I prefer that, thank
Excellent.
you. Yeah, my full name's Melissa.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, Mel's fine.
And we're actually on your property at the moment, in fact on your balcony.
Yep.
Yep. Now, we believe that a bushfire may have started on this property on Thursday the 4th of January, I think it was, 2012.
Yes, it was a Thursday, yes.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure of the date, but it was Thursday.
Yep.
That's correct.
Now, and I also believe that you were the first person to actually observe the fire.
That's correct. I was at home at the time. And I was the only person here at the time.
So you were home alone at the time?
That's correct.
Does anyone else live here with you?
No, this is my place and I own it. I have a partner who stays odd occasions, but yeah, not in, day or a couple of days a week, alternatively.
Can you just give me your partner's name, please?
Yes, Hamish Robinson.
Excellent. So on Thursday, you were at home by yourself.
Yep.
We've obviously already interviewed you in relation to this matter.
Yep.
And I think you stated that there was a farrier here at one stage.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, he came up to do my horse's feet. He just rang up on the day, as rural farriers do, and could come up. He was at Sandford at the time, and he could come up and do my horse Doug's feet.
Okay. Have you got any idea roughly what time he may have left?
No, because I'm not a timekeeper, and
That's
I
fine.
haven't worn a watch in my life, and people can verify that.
Not a problem.
And yeah, I just don't really care about time, because I was actually home for the day because I knew it was fire danger, and I'm on a hot spot. So hence why my partner Hamish had actually rang. He was down at the beach with with one of his children, child, and wanted me to go down the beach, and I actually said no. Then the farrier called, and he was coming up, so it was great anyway.
Okay. After the farriers left, are you able to explain to me what's occurred or what you've actually observed on the day?
Yeah, after the farrier left, he left driving along the front of my road here. I've got a fork in the road, I've got a steep driveway to the left, and I've got a more flatter driveway to the right, but still with a bit of incline. He left down the steep driveway. I waved him off as the back of the van went down the hill, and then I went inside to decide what I was going to do for the day, because it was damn hot and I didn't know whether I was going to do housework or do stuff around the house.
Yep. So you've gone inside. How long would you have been inside for?
Now, that's really hard because I was fiddling, as I'm a fiddler, and it was hot, and I thought, well, I do the horse yard with poo, dog yard with poo, or I stay inside back in the house. So, and I was so undecided, so I thought I'd have a coffee and think about it. The actual farrier gave me some business card names for other people to help me with the horse, and I actually went into my bedroom. I remember putting it away in my box and actually flicking through to see if I already had their name. And I decided then, right, I'll have a coffee and think about what I can do. While I did that, I thought I might have a cigarette while the kettle's boiling. I came outside with my little wooden ashtray, my cigarette and lighter in hand, just about to light the cigarette, looked to the right of me. Now, my right, sorry, I get confused with my left and right, looked to the right of me, and straight away I saw, whether that's 5 or 10 metres wide, of very light coloured flames.
Okay.
And they would have been a good, that far pink line you can see.
Yes.
It actually started beyond that. And then I just froze and said a lot of swear words, and then went into shock and thought, what do I do? And then I realised how far away it was. I thought, great, I need to as I'm running back inside, I can control this. Drucked everything inside, came back out. When I came back out and looked again, it had actually ignited the other side of the the driveway that just slightly inclines. It had actually leaped across, and both of them were travelling just seconds. They'd reached down the bottom of the road, and I knew the other bit was then coming forward, and it was actually starting to go around down the steep drive in the paddock, in the part there of the land. And I ran out. I quickly ran back inside, grabbed the phone, because I knew I had to ring emergencies, but I also had to put out my fire. And that's when I just started putting everything out that was coming towards me and down my steep driveway.
Okay. You were still home by yourself at this stage?
My word, I was still home by myself, yep. I'd made call to the fire brigade. The woman I spoke to said that there was already, or had something about it, a unit arrived or it already there, and I said, no one's here, I'm on my own, please get someone here. And it took a good 20 minutes or more for the fire brigade to turn up. No fault of their own, of course, but I was still, alone and trying to get this sorted.
Okay. And I know you're not good with times,
no.
But we've got you calling 000 at about 2:20.
Right.
Does that sound about right?
Yep, my mobile phone, because I have little things, I have that 20 minutes fast, so as long as you guys, because the one of the officers that came the other night did say that my phone was 20 minutes fast, which I knew, but as long as that was down on the record that it is 20 minutes fast, so that was the right time that I actually called.
And can I just cover off on the weather conditions? When you've seen the fire, obviously it was a hot day. Oh,
it was up here. When it's hot down in Sorrel, it's about 4 degrees or 5 degrees hotter up here. I'm on the peak of a hill. We've got erosion, barren soil, and it was stinking hot. I think it was about 44 degrees. Now, the winds were like a freight train coming through. I reckon it took probably about 10 or 20 seconds. You know, that's just to the best of my knowledge that it just flew. It was, I mean, you must have been, not human to be able to put out what was just flying. It flew back down there, because at the bottom of my property, the next door neighbour had thick bracken and hadn't burnt off there. So that's what just went up in black smoke. Okay. But the winds travelled it so far and so fast in the other direction that it just creeped towards me for me to keep on running up and down to be able to just, so it probably came about 6 or more metres towards me here, and where it's actually been put out. Okay. Because I was down the hill as well, so there was only me, so it was a lot of time to try and travel back and forth, up and down.
All right. What we'll do, we'll just suspend the interview for a minute, and we'll just move to another location. Yep. That's the last location, and then we'll be done.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, this is a continuation of an interview on the 7th of January 2012. It's now 3:49 p.m. We're still at 242 White Hills Road, White Hills. Conducting the interview is Detective Sergeant Matthew Adams. Just again, for the purpose of the interview, can you give me your full name again, please?
Yes, it's Melissa Jane Barrett, but I prefer to be called Mel.
Excellent. Just something I want to clarify. I think when we were back up on the balcony, I might have said it was Thursday the 4th of January. Yep. It was actually Thursday the 3rd of January.
Lovely, thank you, because I didn't know the date, but I knew it was Thursday. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So we've gone over a couple of things up on your balcony, your observations. Yep. We're now obviously a little bit closer to where the fire is.
Yep.
And hopefully the camera will be able to pick up the 2 pink lines.
Yep.
Do you agree that you actually drew those lines on the ground yesterday?
I did. I was with the Tas Fire Service investigators, and they asked me to give an idea of where I thought it was, because still to yesterday it was just very hard, as you can understand and remember. So actually by doing that and having time to be allowed to do it, it's overnight, I can really say, to the best of my knowledge, where it actually started. Well, when I saw the flames, because I actually didn't see it light, I just saw a wall of flames going between this little flat a driveway, and I've got a little sort of old daggy old bit of driveway too on that side, which is the right side. You probably can't see, but yeah.
So the furthest pink line.
Oh, sorry. Yep, the furthest pink line, back a bit from that, pretty much in line with where the tree is.
Yes.
On the corner there. Pretty much, yeah, just over to line up to there. There was a full wall of flames, and they were only little pale flames because it was quite dry and not much. It was pretty just this dry little grass, bit of grass that was through there. So that's where I saw the wall of flames, and at the same time, it was creeping back over that pink far line, coming this way towards the house. And that's when my brain clicked, and I thought, great, it's far enough away for me to be able to control it. And as I said, the second time when I came out and went to do the first fire, I then noticed the other fire start on the other side of the flatter driveway.
Yep. And at this stage, you're trying to put it out as best you can with buckets of water?
Yeah, I had my little, it was brand new, green watering can, and I had a white bucket as well. And I wasn't standing there filling them up both together. I was just doing one at a time, chucking one and then filling the other, chucking. I did find the watering can better with this ground thing, because the bucket, once you threw it, too much came out at once. With the watering can I had, gave me a better line, but I had to run up and down the steep hill because it fanned around my steep driveway and it's heading towards my horse's paddock. As I said, no sooner I saw that wall of sort of white flames, and they probably went back about 3 metres by the time I'd actually seen them. That's when it took down my hill, which is already quite cleared, and the neighbours, as I said, property hadn't at their, you can see their driveway right down the bottom going into more of their property on the right. Yep. That area hadn't been cleared off, and that's when, I said, you know, it could be a minute how quick it went, I'm not quite sure, but it just went black. And as I said, 100 like a freight train, it was gone. And I was just dealing with what I had to do on my property at the time.
Obviously, the volunteer firefighters have arrived at one stage. Was it just one truck by itself
Yes,
originally?
it was. I was already halfway down my steep driveway with my watering can when I saw them, and I was so relieved because I think I rang the fire brigade a second time during waiting for them. I don't know if you've got that on record.
Yes.
Lovely. Yes. I don't know if I rang them 2 or 3 times, but I was in a bit of a stress field because no one was coming to help me, and I even thought my neighbours that were probably sticky beaking would have been nice for them to come down and help me. And when they finally arrived, 20, 30 minutes, the relievement, but straight away I knew where that fire had gone onto my neighbour's property, and I only had just this little grass thing coming towards me. All I wanted those fires to do was go up the road and see that my neighbours were fine, and then I was hoping they came back. But in the end, that's where the big inferno went, through there, and that was my concern. It was the Midway Point Fire Brigade, I think, that might have been the first to turn up.
Can you recall what you said to the fire brigade when they turned up?
I was quite stressful. I think I just think of them. I've got fire. Please just go up to the neighbours. I think I just said, just please go up and see the neighbours, because they had an elderly mother. Well, they had an elderly mother living there, and they could have been at work, and she was home alone. They had 9 dogs. So yeah, I was just concerned whether they were home or whether they were okay, and that was my first. Yeah.
Okay. You've mentioned to the police earlier and also to Tas Fire Service that you had a small campfire here up to 2 weeks ago?
Yep, that's correct. We actually, this here, we call our, winter burning pit. So during the off-season, of course, fire season, we do burn-offs. We do burn-offs around the property in little piles. Couple of times, we'll do the big ones. But as we said, the last time we did that was in September. A couple of weeks ago, my partner and his little son, it was late. It was actually probably about 9 o'clock at night, past his bedtime, and we'd had a cold week. It was rain for the next week, and he said, I'd like a little campfire. Can we have just a little fire? Because he actually came down and stayed the night, which he normally, hasn't been. He put his little tent up. So they chucked about 3 logs of wood on from my...
Your Honour, could Mr Timponi approach Ms Law?
Yes, of course.
Doesn't seem to be anything to play. 0-0.
Your Honour, one of my other instructors, Mr Ioannidis, has the court book on USB, which we might be able to plug into the court's laptop and play that way.
Yes, what's happened, Mr Timponi? Is the file just frozen? Or?
I think so, Your Honour.
Yes.
We do have other copies of the video on Mr. Ioannidis' laptop and also on the SharePoint. If you do
Well,
need to read
is
them.
it just frozen, or do you think it's corrupt? Could we get away with restarting?
It might just be corrupt.
Yeah, all
I
right.
might just read it.
Okay, we'll try the USB then.
We're at that pile just across my driveway there, and lit it up just in the area here, not back in there. We just lit it up in here because it's a pit, and probably burned for a couple of hours, 3 hours, put him to bed. Hamish kicked it over. I run around always and put things out with water. End of story. And then it rained that week as well. So, yeah. So that's what happened a couple of weeks ago.
Just to try and put it into perspective, can you remember if that was before or after Christmas?
I can't, to be honest. No.
That's fine.
I can't. I just get confused when Christmas and New Year's was. So, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I can't actually.
Since then, you've had no more fires in the stump?
Oh, God, no.
And no more fires on your property at all?
Not at all, no. No, I've actually, going towards the TAS plan and been clearing my land. I know not to use machinery on total fires. You don't, I'm an intelligent woman, I know that you don't do those sort of things.
And you haven't seen the stump smouldering at all or smoking at any stage over the last couple of weeks?
It did when we had the rains.
Yes.
It bit of steam in the wooden bit here.
Yes.
But other than that, no, only when it rains. We always go over and check it, even on the day of the fires. On the 7 Mile Beach fiery guy was here, the lovely man with the red beard and that. He even said there's no ember, like it wasn't even red, wasn't glowing, and because of the fire come back around here, this was just smoking a little bit, but yeah.
Okay.
Nothing.
That's fine.
And then he told me about how roots travel. Yep. And that's when I started to think, understand, well, okay, because they put them down all the time at 7 Mile Beach where the roots catch on fire of big old trees. Yeah.
And just to put it into perspective, you can wait there, Mel.
Yep.
I'm just going to walk over here. Obviously, we've got the tree stuff over here. And this is actually where we located the burnt
the
tree
Tasmania
root.
Fire Service, was it?
Yeah.
They dug that up yesterday?
Yep, and we've been able to track that burnt root back to probably over this side here, but from that main tree stump.
Yeah, because there is actually 2 separate stumps there, and we haven't burnt that pokey little one that's sitting to the left of the big stump with the hole. We haven't actually put a fire on there since September, and we don't even do campfires in that one because it's just a little tiny hole. Yeah.
Just a couple of other little things. Once, I guess, the first fire trucks arrived.
Yep.
Is that the one and only truck that has arrived on that day, or has there been a second?
No, a second truck come. So I think it was Midway Point, and then it was 7 Mile Beach. Yep. And then we had a third one as well. I think it was Wattle Hill later on in the day when it got out of hand and travelled further up back of the bush. There could have been other fire trucks. We had trucks coming and going all day, so I couldn't tell you really. But I know Midway and 7 Mile Beach were here with us for most of the day.
You mentioned earlier, obviously, that Hamish Short wasn't here at the time when you first observed the fire.
No. The fire had already, when Hamish arrived, the fire had already gone onto my neighbour's property.
And he arrived before or after the first truck? Can you remember?
I think he arrived after the first truck, because when I sent them up, I don't know whether Hamish arrived then, and this is something I still can't know, because, so I really can't, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know.
No, that's fine.
It was within seconds, and they will be able to verify if you want to know the Midway and 7 Mile anyway.
That's fine. I'm just about done. Is there anything else you can think of at all, Mel, that might be able to assist, or anything that you'd like to say or anything like that?
I would like to say, after having the time working with the fires yesterday, that I actually, to the best of my knowledge, know where it started.
Yep.
And I can see by the way these little 2 bushes are burnt from the back that it did start over that. The fire was already lit over that side and it travelled back to here. So, and I said the Tasmania said the procedural, so obviously something's ignited there, flown there and then burnt back. But she was definitely past that pink line.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it,
We'll finish the interview at 242 White Hills Road, White Hills, and it is 4 p.m. on the 7th of January 2012.
Thank you, Your Honour. That's it for the interviews with Ms Barrett. The next videos that we were going to ask Your Honour to look at were a little set of videos that were taken on the 6th of January with the involvement of Mr Torrenius, who is the first of the witnesses we proposed to call. It's perhaps convenient if we start those after lunch, Your Honour. And I was also going to suggest, if it's convenient, Your Honour, and my learned friend has no objection, that Mr Torrenius, who arrived at some point during this morning, it might be worthwhile if he were at least in the courtroom while those videos were being played. It might save time in terms of having to refer him to things when he's giving his evidence.
Yes, thank you. Now, there are no orders that relate, I don't think. So are you proposing to lead Mr Terenius through his evidence in the conventional way? Or?
Yes, Your Honour. Our understanding is that the witness statements that were exchanged were simply intended to be outlines of the evidence that each witness was expected to give, and that they would need to be led orally through their stories.
So consistent with my normal practice in criminal trials, I would not read the witness statement.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Mr Reid?
I'm content with that, Your Honour.
I certainly wouldn't propose to take the same course with expert witnesses,
No.
but I've found in the past that it can be confusing if you've got a mental picture of something that's in a statement and yet the evidence is given orally. So that's the course I'll take.
Yes, thank you, Your Honour. And yes, I was going to carve out the experts from that. There is also the two Tasmanian Fire Service investigators, Mr Bones and Mr Walkley.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mr Bones was and is a member of the Fire Service, and we've got a statement of anticipated evidence from him, but he was the author of the eventual report, and we'll seek to tender that report through him. Mr Walkley has since retired from the Fire Service, and so although there was an original statement of expected evidence, we were subsequently able to prepare a statement of his evidence, which has been provided to our learned friends. It's probably necessary again that we lead him through his evidence, but he does include some responses to the opinions that were provided by some of the defendant's experts, and I'll need to take him to those as well.
Now, I assume now we're not talking about concurrent evidence?
No, Your Honour.
No.
We're proposing...
There seem to be a limited number of experts on a limited number of issues.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, certainly, Your Honour.
Yeah.
We see this as very much a fact case.
Yes, Your Honour.
Yes, all right, thank you. Well, I'll adjourn till 2:15.
All stand, please. This honourable court now stands adjourned until 2:15 p.m.